All right, what's up? Oh, it feels good to be back. Unfortunately, last week did happen. Super unfortunate, but things come up. It happens. We ran, I think, 14 or 15 streams in a row without missing one, except for our little internet fiasco with the Riptide deck building. Um, so we had a good run, but unfortunately, last week I wasn't able to stream. But we are back. So for the past couple weeks, I've been taking a little bit of time off of Flesh and Blood, just as a break. After grinding for Pro Tour and all that, and also we're kind of in this weird period, right, where um, any classic constructed reps are valuable in a sense of like you're getting reps in, you're staying fresh, kind of thing, but there's no reason to like grind strategies or figure things out because we have a new set coming out and possibly a new BNR as well. To that's just going to affect everything, right? So the only real practice you can get in, if you're still wanting to practice, is Monarch draft, and that's because we're going to be drafting Monarch for nationals. And also, for those of you not attending nationals, we will also be drafting. We will have to be drafting it for our pre-releases, right? For those of you who don't know, the pre-release events are going to be a little different, right? Historically, we would get packs of the set, open them, do a sealed format or whatever, or maybe even a draft, and then get prize packs for the new set as well. So we have like multiple ways to play with the cards and get them as prize packs. However, this pre-release or Battle for Monarch, whatever they're calling it, it's going to be you're going to be drafting Monarch, and then the store has the option to buy an extra case of Dust Till Dawn and give that as prize support. So you actually won't be able to play with the cards in any event until release. And I believe this is the first time that, well, I guess it technically is going to happen every supplemental set, but that's just kind of one of the things that happens when supplemental sets come out, right? I really wish they would have made it where you could have done sealed, and you open like, I don't know, 4 or 5 packs of Monarch and then like a couple packs of Dust Till Dawn. I thought that would be like a really cool experience, but maybe there's not enough like, you know, cohesion or whatever the case may be. Maybe there's not enough there to connect to actually create a fun experience. But I think the default there could have been, just give us the normal amount of Monarch packs for Monarch sealed, and then just add a couple Dust Till Dawn packs, right? And then, you know, it just adds to the flavor, right? You get to play with the new cards. It's exciting, you're only going to be able to play with probably 4 cards out of every pack, maybe, and that's okay. But at least you get to look through them, play with a couple of them, get to experience, right? Um, get caught up on chat. Thanks, Justin, for being here. Thanks, Josh. Normally there isn't a pre-release for a supplemental set. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's why we're practicing Monarch Draft. That is the entire point of going over this and getting the reps in now to be ready for your pre-release. If that's the level of event you want to participate in, or if you want to do that and go to Nats, and then or maybe you want to do side events at Nats that have Monarch Draft and things like that. A lot of reasons to be playing Monarch Draft right now, which is exciting for me because that's when I entered the game. I entered the game at Monarch, but back then nobody played Draft really. I don't think Draft really kicked off on a competitive level until Tel Tavaria. There was the Auckland calling that was draft or sealed in I think it was combination sealed and then draft in top 8, or maybe day 2 draft even. There was a competitive event, but I'm talking like worldwide, I don't think we like majorly adopted the limited, you know, play type until Tales of Aria. So I never got to experience Monarch Draft when I got into this game. So um, I had never drafted Monarch. In fact, this is a funny little story. So my first like calling level event that I ever played was 20 not this most recent Nats, but the Nats before it, where Tales of Aria had just been released and everybody was on Lightning Briar. That was my first big event. I never drafted a card game ever. 2 days before that event, I sat down with Josh and was like, which way do you pass the packs? You know, like, how does this whole thing work? You know, how does the registration work? Like, I had never, ever done it, right? And I ended up going 2-1 in both pods at Nats. Ended up closing the event at 20th. Um, so bubbled out, kind of super unfortunate, but it was a great event. Had a lot of fun, and I do enjoy the limited format. I will say that you'll notice this as you watch me draft. That's our plan for today. I'm going to discuss the heroes a little bit, kind of what they're trying to accomplish, you know, strategies you can execute, things like that for about 20 minutes. And then we're going to hop straight into a Monarch draft from my perspective. Okay. Um, we are not currently looking for people to draft. So what happened? Patreon, Discord, or the Patreon channel within our Discord, and I say, all right, looking for people to do a draft for stream, and then if that does not fill it, then I pass it to general chat in our Discord, and then it usually fills within minutes once I post it into the general chat. So really, if you want to be in the drafts, which we will be doing hopefully a draft next week as well. If you want to be in that, just be in the lookout in our Discord. You got to be in our Discord, or you're not going to find out. So that's the biggest thing. What else we got? Not gonna lie, the Prism cards have been a letdown so far, especially as it is my main. But good news for you, Runeblade is looking good. Um, it's interesting you said that, Josh. I want to talk about the Thoughtseize card for a second. I forget what the actual name of it. I think it's the one that Mara spoiled. The card's very interesting, but I'm not a Magic player. I've played like Magic Arena for 2 hours before. That's my Magic experience in a nutshell. And I watch a little bit of Rudy on Alpha Investments. Like that's all the Magic I know, right? And from the way that I look at it is like, all right, you compare it to Thoughtseize, right? If I'm not mistaken, it's like a mono black card, and like, um, you know, it basically you look at their hand, you take a card, discard it, and you like lose 2 life or whatever. The problem with a card like that in Flesh and Blood, see, in 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 Flesh and Blood, you renew your hand every turn cycle. Whereas Magic, you don't, unless like you play an effect or something that lets you do it or whatever. Um, and you basically, you know, just don't have, you know, the lasting effect of that quote unquote Thoughtseize is not as strong as I think people are making it out to be. Is it a bad card? I don't think it's a bad card. I just don't think it's great. I think it's perfectly like against Runeblade, it's super strong, right? Because it's a deck that operates on like very few attacks, and if you ever rip the only one out, you just win the game, right? But Dash, you rip one of the 4 mech attacks out. Like, sure, you can steal her blue, but usually she has more than one, or you know, like she doesn't really need them. Like, and you're also giving them a card with the ponder token. So it's not. I think for that card to be good, you have to play it against somebody that highly values specific attack action cards and cannot make use of the ponder token. So like a deck like Katsu's kind of risky on the ponder token, right? Because he runs so many like blue zero cost um, that that basically you don't want to put in an arsenal, right? So therefore, the ponder token theoretically in that situation has a 30 something percent chance of rendering no value. Of course, he could arsenal and then just play it at the end of a chain. So then it's only a value of 2. But most of the time, they probably wouldn't even arsenal it. Force Bolton, please. We'll see. I'm gonna draft it how I normally would, not going in with any preconceptions. I'm gonna look at the packs, make the decisions from there. Um, but don't you think that the information of the current hand and play your turn accordingly doesn't make it strong? Well, if you use that philosophy, then why is nobody running Scout the what is it? Ridgeline Scout? It's a 0 for 3 in Monarch that says if it's played from Arsenal, it gains go again, and when it's played, you look at your opponent's hand. That's a 0 for 3 with possible go again. It's like almost a lightning surge, and you get to look at your opponent's hand, and nobody plays it. Right? Hand knowledge is key, but hand knowledge in a game like Flesh and Blood only renders a finite amount of value because you renew the hand, right? Like in Flesh and Blood, it's very easy for, like, let's say you showed the hand, right? The card has go again, so obviously you're going to do something else after, and you they play a herald or something after, I don't know. You can look at it, looking at it from the point of the person who it resolved on, and say, well, they know what my hand is, so let me play this way. Whereas Magic, like, you can do that a little bit, but like you're stuck with that hand, so they have that knowledge for the that's where, like, looking at their hand kind of on the face value, it's it's a card and a resource negative for the illusionist player because you do take a card from your opponent, but they replenish it with ponder token. So I'm not like super high on it, but I don't think it's bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on it. I just think that it's not no Thoughtseize is what I'm saying. Because I've heard all about that card from Magic players and stuff like that. And I know Thoughtseize is good, even though I'm not a Magic player. Okay, so we're gonna, for the next 15 minutes, we're gonna talk about basic hero strategies in Monarch. Let's start with Bolton. I've had a little bit of practice in a Bolton due to Josh, so I am privy to a little bit more information than an average player, because I've played so many times into it. I kind of know what axis it operates on and what it's trying to do. So the main thing, yeah, I agree with chat. I think it's a great sideboard card. I don't think it'll ever be main decked, at all. So let's start with Bolton. Let's talk about Bolton and kind of what you're trying to accomplish with Bolton. So those of you who don't know, the Bolton hero ability says, as long as you've charged this turn, all attacks that are defended with an attack action card gain +1. And then if you have an attack that's higher than its base attack power, you can remove a card from soul to give it go again. So Bolton should be looked at as a kind of setup combo deck. I don't like using the word combo because it's not really a combo. You're just setting up for larger turns. You're not playing, 4-card hand cycles every single turn. You're putting a high value card in Arsenal and then min-maxing value. and making sure you have enough life to execute said valiant thrust or whatever your payoff is. So important ratios that you have to consider is he obviously wants to operate on heavy blues because anytime you can play a one cost charge or a zero cost, you have your axes and then you have gallantry gold. Do not sleep on stubby hammers. It's actually good in Bolton because one of the number one things you need to do in Bolton in limited format is you need to make sure your opponent does not have the authority to deny your go again. That's the number one thing. You say, okay, you look at your hand, you say, okay, this does 15 damage. Awesome. This is a great hand in limited. But it relies on your opponent blocking with an attack. You will never play that hand out, or you should not, right? Unless they're at like 2 life and they have to block you, they're mostly attack action. Then you can make an educated decision. But those are the main things that you have to look out for. Some great cards. Do not sleep on Belittle Minnowism package in Bolton. I think it's great. Cards like Bolt of Courage, Engulfing Light, things like that. They're great cards. You need to balance your ratio between charge cards and payoff cards, right? What do I mean by payoff card? I mean like something that gains a benefit from being charged previously. So you need to balance cards like Take Flight. Take Flight is your premium charge card because it allows you to be positive on soul, right? Because if you Bolt of Courage into a Valiant Thrust, you're soul neutral, right? Because you need to give the Bolt of Courage go again, assuming you could. Whereas Take Flight, it has go again. You do not need to expel the card that you charged with that card so you get value later on. Okay. You need to close the game out with no soul, or else you were kind of wasteful. Is kind of the idea. So moving on to Chain. Or I guess let's do Light Heroes first. So let's talk about Prism. Okay, so Prism. Prism is the most flexible of all the heroes. She can do a lot of things. She can play like a 2 for 6, 7 fatigue strategy. You can fatigue with a spectral shield. In the mirror match, it all comes down to establishing a spectral shield and then defending it, and then just swinging with a blue. Do not get hung up on yellow cards. They're fine, but it's not Prism in CC unless you open Luminaris. But even then, you're not going to be able to get the yellow density to make it really like shine, right? So there's a lot of things that Prism can do. Some of the yellow auras are better than others. I really like Parable into Bolton. You can literally just turn their is stupid good, right? Erudition if you can open it, but the Dominate one's great in the mirror, but not really anywhere else. So that's Prism in a nutshell. Is basically it can revolve around being a fatigue deck or a value deck, and then. Let's be honest, if you open that weapon, you win. Yeah, if you can get the yellows to support it. It's a card that if you open first pack, you would draft around it. Luminars, for example. You can't do that for Raiden. I think Raiden's borderline unplayable. I just don't think there's enough cards that you could get to support that playstyle. Dread Scythe is the best card you could probably open in a Monarch pack. Like ever. You just draft that card and you just draft as many blue 3-block cards that you can, and you just Dread Scythe every turn. And you never shackle. And you win the game. As far as let's move on to a little bit about Chain. If you look at the power. If you look at the power of Chain and the power level that he operates off of, you basically have to. Nobody can compete with chain value wise. So 90% of the decks are going to result to trying to fatigue you. That's typically going to be the easiest way to win that match, and it's up to the chain player to decide that that doesn't happen, right? So the number one thing that's going through your mind as a chain player is how do you not get fatigued, and that revolves around drafting a lot of go again, whether it be rip the reality or captain's calls or belittle minnowisms or brandish is a good one. Just anything with go again, right? Also, don't sleep on zealous belting in Prism. Don't sleep on that as well. Um, let's see. Also, what else for chain? The main thing is just don't get fatigued. Like everybody's gonna be trying to do that to you because you can't compete with chain on a blanket like value axis, right? There's no way. Bolton's probably the only deck that could do it. Just period. Seeds is a good one. Any arcane damage. Arcane damage is a priority. There's no AB in the Monarch set. There's only Spell Void. So the main thing is blue seeds is kind of risky because you need that zero cost attack to execute it. But the yellow and the red seeds are just bomb. Blue pitches though, so there's like a trade off there. But just usually you definitely get to second cycle with chain, and you have to be mindful of like the blue seeds and like do you have the card to actually trigger it and things like that. A little bit about Levia. The advantage of playing Levia is you get to just not have already sent the link out. I literally sent it to you on Discord. Yeah, so sorry. I got derailed, if you will. So yeah, if you draft Levia, there's a very good chance that you're the only one, but that does not it's not like the preconceived notion. If you're the only one in the pod, you win, nothing like that. It definitely helps, right? But you have to play the way that I like to play Levia is I like to play on a value axis while not committing to blood debt for the first 6 to 8 turns, give or take. By never putting blood debt in the banish zone. And then the last couple of turns, when you get to your pitch stack, blocking a lot, sending like a 2 for 7, 2 for 8, depending on the situation. Set up dread screamers, the non-attack dominate one. I forget what it's called because it has a long ass name. But just whatever go again sources you have to kind of push the last second, and then hooves of the shadow beast. If you don't have that, you're gonna lose. But that's usually a card that's not hard to get in Monarch Draft. But yeah, when you draft Levia, there's a very good chance that you're the only one. With that being said, it doesn't make it a freebie by any means. So that is convulsions. Yep, that's the one. That's the non-attack. It gives a +2 or 3, and then it also gives dominate. Keyword, basically help you close the game out is the important part. Usually, how many players go for each hero? Great question. The answer to that would be, I would say 1 Levia. Historically, people prefer light heroes. That's the information that I'm getting in both the drafts that I've taken part in and what people have told me. I'm just now starting the grind on really bunkering down and learning this stuff. But that's kind of the grasp that I have is people really lean toward, Levia is just a very difficult deck to play. a lot of nuances, so people just tend to shy away from it. And then chain, everybody's worried about being fatigued, so that means the comfort pick is Prism's always the highest drafted from the ones that I've participated in, and then Bolton's usually a close second, and then chain is usually behind that, and then Levia last. So I would find it perfectly normal to have, you know, either a 3 prism, 2 Bolton, 2 chain, 1 Levia. Like that would be like pretty average, I would say. I actually did a draft the other day where there were no Levias, so just a lot of people stay away from it, and I don't disagree with that strategy. It's a very risky lane to be in, but it can pay off. It's not bad. Don't you know? I encourage you to learn all 4 heroes, so that way if you're in that seat, um, and for instance, like I've never drafted Levia myself, and so if it happens this time, it's gonna be a learning experience for all of us. We're all gonna learn. That's just how it's gonna be, right? Um, so forgive me if I slip up a little bit there. But I haven't drafted Monarch too much. I've just studied it a lot, talked to people a lot about it and stuff like that, and I'm just kind of bringing the thoughts of everybody together in kind of one unified place, and kind of sharing what I've learned so far. And what we're gonna do is the plan is here in about 2 minutes we're going to do a Monarch draft, and you get to see my perspective on draftfab.com, and we're also going to preferably draft a week from today for next stream as well, because it's right before spoiler season, and the streams will start talking about spoilers, and we're going to break and set the first couple days that all the cards come out. I promise it'll happen here, or your money back guaranteed. Other than that, yeah. And then what we're also going to do is after the 2 Monarch streams for draft, in about 3 to 4 weeks, probably 2 weeks before Nationals, I'm going to revisit Monarch draft one more time to kind of show, okay, over the past month and a half, 2 months, this is what my thoughts were, and this is what they are now, how they changed, why they changed, and kind of like show the progression of what I learned about the limited set, and how my thinking evolved on the topic, basically. That is the idea. So if we've got no questions from chat, I think we're gonna jump straight in to the draft. Yeah, that's a very good point that chat brought up. Like if you see Ethan in your pod, man, Sam, you kind of know he's on Levia, right? I've heard stories of people, they at Nats last year, they'd bring out the Icelander playmat, the Icelander sleeves, and a water bottle with the Icelander on it. It's like, oh, what's this person going to draft, right? Well, that thought process can work twofold. To the people to your left, they're going to read it loud and clear. They're going to be like, okay, I'm not drafting Icelander because I'm going to get cut, right? But the people to your right could say, I'm about to get this guy. And they purposely draft Icelander because they know it's very advantageous for the person to your right to put you into something similar, because if 2 Icelander picks get picked back to back, then it sends a hard signal to everybody else around that Icelander's taken. So it's a very good chance that the 2 of you will be the only Icelanders in the pod. Therefore, you got that check mark, and then you're guaranteed to have the best deck because you're seeing the first card out of 2 packs, and they're seeing the first card out of 1 pack. So be careful about doing stuff like that, because if you're playing against very smart people, they can kind of like leverage that against you. It may not be advantageous as you believe it to be, to kind of undercover, and plus it's cheating. Like, you're not supposed to be doing that, but It's kind of like soft cheating, I guess, because it's very hard to prove. You know, you just have the stuff that you enjoy and stuff like that. But just be mindful of that. If anybody was thinking about doing something like that at a big event, it can backfire. Um, so yeah, we are going to go ahead and hop in to the draft. So hopefully the people in let me hop in the Discord. Let me hop in here with everybody. All right. What's up, everybody? All right. All right. Okay. So we're gonna go and yeah, I am streaming. Yeah. All right. So we are going to go and get started with the draft. Yeah. Oh, you too, Vero? Sweet. Okay. Um, we're gonna go ahead and get started. For those of you who don't know, I think I have you guys muted on the stream, not because I don't want them to hear your beautiful voices, nor do I trust you guys. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't want the beeping to go through because I don't know where the button is to stop that. So I don't want to. Yeah. Well, we could fix that. All right. All right. Well, here we go. We're gonna go ahead and start, and then I will turn that off, and then I'll probably. Well, we shouldn't be talking too much anyway, but cool. This is pretty casual. We'll probably be laughing a little bit, stuff like that. No hats. Yeah. All right, here we go. We are starting. I'm gonna mute myself in because I need to talk through my lines. So I'm mute. Okay, so chat. I think we got this going. This is my first pack, and straight from the get go, we have a couple strong picks. We have a blue Captain's Call, which is not bad. Seek Enlightenment Red is great. Wartune Herald Red, of course, is great as well. But I'm really looking at these two. They're generic poppers. Very, very strong there. Kind of gives you a lot of flexibility. That allows a lot of different things. And we have yellow, Courageous Still Hand. So I think I'm oh, I didn't. No, I clicked on pound for pound. I saw the timer run out. I would have picked pound for pound. That would have been my number one pick, but unfortunately that did not happen. That's what I was getting at. I was trying to set up everything. For here, well, we got a Levia card, so we might display Levia, but right here we have some pretty okay. Okay. Here I think Illuminate is the best. Okay, we have a blue belittle. We have to. Okay. All right. 1 second. Sorry, stream. We're gonna go and restart. I can't. I need to find a way because I can't like think, talk through lines, and listen to everybody. So give me 1 second. That sucks. That sucks for you. Okay. We're gonna. Okay. They were nuts. No, I'm about to. I couldn't stop and like do all that because my pack one pick one was a blue Marauder because I ran out of time because I was fixing everything for the stream. Yeah, I need to do that. That's what I need to do. Okay, so we are going to restart that real quick. I'm gonna put it in the general. Sorry about that, stream. We're gonna restart that. So much going on. Yep, we got it. We got it. Yeah, we turned off the timer. Turned off the timer so I can talk through it. Yep, all I have checked is random seating. That's it. We're waiting on two people. We are waiting on. It's in general. Yeah, the VC general chat. Yeah, yeah. The V chat. Okay. All right. I'm gonna deafen you guys now. Okay. So sorry about that stream. There was so much going on right there. Like, holy shit. There was so much going on. I was like trying to talk through lines. They were talking, but I got them deafened in the Discord. We are good to go. So sorry about that. Technical difficulties. This is the first time doing draft on the stream, but we are going to go ahead and hop in there right now. We turned off the timer to give me a little bit more time to kind of talk through my thought process, stuff like that. So that way you guys get as much value as you can from it. And I'm not feeling pressured and like take my time a little bit and stuff like that. I think that's the best way to do it. So here we go. So once again, sorry about that, chat. We're going to go ahead and start it again. And hopefully not pick a shit blue because of auto pick. Okay. So this pack is very below average. There's no like strong signals being sent or anything like that. Like there's a yellow Herald of Tenacity. It's not even that great. Yellow Bolt of Courage. Like red Adrenaline Rush is probably just strictly the best card in the pack where things stand. I mean, there is Seeds of Agony as well, but like it's yellow Rift Bond. Like we could cut Chain off, but it's very risky. But I think here it could possibly be worth it because there just really isn't a whole lot going on. Yellow Bolt of Courage is exceptionally mid. They just block 3 and cover it up. Could take Ironhide Legs, but that cuts us out of Levia because we need we really need to. I'm really leaning toward Adrenaline Rush, but could see the argument for Riftbond, or I would take Seeds over Riftbond. But no real signal sent. I think I'll take Seeds. To try and send a little signal, because now there's only like a yellow there. Okay, so here we have a couple good picks. We have a red Bounding, but we're not in chain yet. We're just kind of like, we're still playing it by ear. We have a really good Bolton card here. Actually, a lot of good Bolton cards. We need to see if anything's been taken out of the pack. Basically, we have 2 Illusionist or 1 light warrior or 2 light warriors. We missing an Illusionist here, I believe. I'm pretty sure the pack composition is 2-2-2-1. So I'm getting Rousey Ancients is busted too. It's so good, but just not in chain, right? So I think if we take the Bounding here, we should send like a super strong signal, right? Like we should tell everybody to stay away from chain, theoretically. And we're not missing any Runeblade cards. So I think that Bounding is just the best pick. Not because it's the best card, because what we are telling everybody down the row from us, saying, look, get away from the chain deck that we could be building. We're still not sold yet. But we do have to recognize that we are sending hard Bolton signals. So if we pass this pack like this, we have Rouse is good, I will admit. But if we send the red Bounding, then we're cutting ourselves off of the first pick. If we picked a generic first, I would take the Rouse, but here I got to take the Bounding to send signals. Okay, so what do we got here? We have a Gallantry Gold still hanging out, and we have 1 Light Illusionist card missing, so we got somebody on Prism to our right. We also are missing a Light Warrior card. And we still have 2 Runeblade cards. So Chain still has the image of being open. Okay, because we have 2 Shadow Runeblade here. That doesn't mean they weren't picking Belittle Minnowisms here, right? Like um there's no reason that Soul Harvest. Oh, I bet Ethan is just I mean, the only thing, this pack could be missing a Levia card, right? Because this is the only card in it. In Chain, it just seems so open, and we could just take another Seeds. I mean, there's also Captain's Call here. Captain's Call is great in Chain. I think we're actually going to prioritize the Captain's Call over the Seeds, just to have one more pick to kind of be a little, open, you could say. Okay, what do we have now? Okay, we are getting hard. Oh man, these are such good Levia picks. But we just sent the Rouse, and we passed on the Boots. This would be the best Levia seat, but we went there. If I could go back. Okay, so anyway, we can't change that. So we got no Light Illusionist here, so we can't even think about Prism, right? It's not even. We can't even imagine playing Prism right now. We can't play Bolton because there's Bolton cards missing. There is a Seeds here, but it is a blue one, which is kind of unfortunate. I'd definitely take the Unhallowed Rites over the blue Seeds, but these are such good Levy card. Like, this is exactly what you want to be drafting when you're drafting Levia. So with that, I'm just worried that if I I can't pivot, like Ethan said, I can't pivot in now because I've put the person to my left theoretic. I mean, I passed the Soul Harvest, Hooves, Rouse. Like, if they're not in Levia, then I don't know what they're doing. So we're gonna take Unhallowed Rites, just because it's the best. It's the best. This card is just hot dog water, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Okay, so we do have another Chain player at the table, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot. They could have just been taking generic cards, and that's okay. We do have some more Bolton cards. So the Bolton situation is kind of weird, but we've this is the pick where we kind of got to say, because Monarch, you typically play, you need to play a lot more than 30 if you can in most matchups. So this is kind of like where we need to kind of like make a decision or move on kind of thing. And based off of this, there's no decision here other than there's some bonkers Levia cards here. Again, Red Deadwood is so good. So good. So I think we have to go with the Crackle here. It's just the best pick. It blocks 3. We're still focusing on the Arcane. We're trying, like I said earlier, we're trying to solve the fatigue problem before it exists, and then we will confirm that selection. So we're in Chain now. That has happened as of right now. Okay, so we have a nice little bit of blood deck going here. We got a good signal with this pack, right? Levia is still open, like we said before. We are missing on the Belittles, but that's okay. We don't need Belittle to win. We don't really have anything to justify the Belittle. We've prioritized non-attacks a little bit. Well, we got about an even split. Piercing Shadow Vice is pretty good, but so is Rift to Torment, and because it does the arcane damage along with it. We also have Edmundfold, which you can't sleep on. Yeah, I mean, if I could go back in time, I would just hard went Levia like instantly. But we got to deal with what we got and go from there. So I'm going to either take this Yellow Visit or the Rifted Torment. It's kind of tough here. I think I have to take the Rifted Torment, but because we're taking this, we have to sit here and say, okay, we need to start getting some blues in, or we're going to start having problems. So we're going to take the Rifted Torment and then kind of see what happened. Blue Bounding is a great hit. It's blue, like I mentioned, that we needed. It blocks 3, kind of does most of what we need. And if we can snag a popper too, we would love to take it. When this pack wheels, though, we have like a 0. Like we'll have to get the Blood Tribute probably, if I had to guess. But it is a blue at least. We'll take that. We could take the... No, we have to take Bounding. I was saying we could take the Rally and then hope the Bounding wheels, but I doubt it will. So we're just going to take the blue Bounding and go on. So we're still feeling pretty good about our decision here. Void Wraith is expensive, so is Piercing Shadow Vice. If I've dealt Arcane, we have a lot of Arcane in the deck already. We have Seeds, Arcanic Crackle, we have Rifted Torment. So we have a lot of ways to deal Arcane, so I do like picking this one over the Void Wraith. Just on the surface, I think it's a better pick. So we will go with the Shadow Vice. Okay, and here we're basically starting to get to the picks to where we're just looking for, mana base, basically, is what we're doing. So we're going to go ahead and start taking some blues here whenever we can. Choose an attack action card, cost 0 in your banish zone. You may play it this turn. If it attacks the light here, it gains. That would go good with the Crackle to recycle, so I think it's actually better than the blue Brandish, so we'll take the Spew Shadow. Okay, here I definitely do... it looks like somebody did pivot into Levia, though, so that's good. Because there's a lot. I was expecting more. It does mean that they already got a hooves. Yeah, Brandish does have go again built in, but it's only 1. Like, I think Surging is the better. This card should be looked at as an expensive feisty local. It's basically what it is. Yeah, Ethan, I think Hooves Wheeling is a result of like I think 2 were opened, basically. Is what I think. So we're gonna take that one. Here we Dimensional Gateway is so average. Like it's actually not even average. It's pretty bad. Eclipse Existence. I don't even know what this card does. When an attack you control hits a light hero, you may banish a card from their soul. If you do, they lose 1. That card is terrible because they're going to try to fatigue you anyway. It is a blue, so we might just have to get that as a blue. Because Yinty Yanty, I mean, we could play it, but it's 0 cost. I will admit that, but like, usually want to end with the weapon swing. We do control auras. Shackles are auras. Yeah, we'll take Yinty. Here it's a no-brainer. I think we go ahead and secure an Ebb and Fold just for the mirror match. We can also activate the ability to go ahead and put the card in. So I think let's go ahead and we could secure the extra blue, but I think taking the Ebb and Fold here is good as well. Okay, here it all sucks, but we'll. I guess we take the blue over. It's kind of anti-fatigue a little bit too. We could put the Crackle back on top or something, and then oh my god, smash with Big Tree, red. Second to last pick. Oh, this Levia. Levy's going 3-0 the pod if this is what the last 2 picks are. Holy cow. Okay, so we're on pack 2. Oh, we got a bomb. Shadow Puppetry. Okay, so we already know we're gonna slap pick that. Like that's already been decided. We just take shadow puppetry. It works again for everything. It solves so many problems. We're just gonna take this card. However, let's look at the rest of the pack. Ironhide legs are so mid and chain. Just not. To be honest, I'd rather take time skippers if I'm being honest. Yellow bounding is pretty good. We need to look at so in between our packs, we would say okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we really only have Captain's Call and a Seeds of Agony. So we really need to be prioritizing non-attack actions now as we progress through the picks. Tremor would be great if it wheeled. This is always good in chain, but we're going to take Puppetry. Like I told you guys before, the second we saw it, we know we're taking it. So we're going to start prioritizing non-attack actions to kind of fix our ratios and kind of go from there. Okay, here we do have a popper and we have a Rip Through Reality red. Both are, so we're going to pick one of these cards. Rip Through Reality is a go again in a way. You know, we have a decent amount of arcane in the deck. A lot of ways to turn that online. And the popper's pretty good, but once again, more than likely the prism is going to be trying to fatigue you. So having a popper is not as good in the situation than a red Rip Through Reality. So I'm going to take the rip. Go from there. Do I have a blue bounding? That's good. Red belittle is a slam. All right, this pack has been great to us. We got a red belittle and a shadow puppetry. We take those. Now we need to get a red minnow to go with it, but we'll take it one card at a time. Okay, so we're going to take the belittle, 100%. We knew that the second we saw it. But just kind of look what could wheel. The Ironhide Gauntlets could wheel. This blue bounding could wheel. The Yinty Yanty. Other than that, there's nothing to really note. But we are going to take this red belittle 100%. At worst, it's a 1 for 3 go again. Kind of extends the turn, which is exactly what we want to be doing. This pack is pretty bad. No matter how you cut it. Yellow brandish. I would probably. Our blue count is 1, 2. Can't count this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 blues. So brandish is okay, but I kind of looking at piercing shadow vice blue over brandish, but the brandish is a yellow. We'll take brandish. It's close though. It's close on which one I would take. Okay, we have Seeping Shadows here. That is a great pick. It's kind of one of those non-attack actions that just allows us to go a little bit wider and continue our turn. So we're going to go ahead and take the Seeping Shadows. It will go with any card in our deck. It'll go with our Rifted Torments or whatever. But once again, we're taking some expensive cards. Let's note this real quick. We have 1, 2 cost, 1, 2, 3. We have 3 cards that cost 2, so we're getting a little expensive, but not too much. So I think I'm good taking this. Blood Drop, we're not taking damage on our turn, which is when we would need the resource. So we don't need Blood Drop. We want Iron Weave if we can get it. That's the dream. Yellow Bounding and Rift Bind are good as well. But we're going to go in. We need some non-attack actions. We're kind of low on it. And this says next attack action, not Shadow or Runeblade. So it kind of fills a lot of slots all in one. We have another Belittle. Unfortunately, it's blue. In this situation, I think it's very safe to say we take the blue Crackle, not the yellow. All we care about is the arcane damage anyway, and we might as well secure a oh yeah, Brocade does do it if you deal damage. I completely forgot about that. You're right. I think I still take the seeping them because we're very low on non-attacks. But here, I think we definitely take the blue. It serves as arcane damage to close it out, and it's a blue block 3, so I think blue crackle is way better than yellow crackle in this situation. Blue belittle, if we'd already grabbed some Minnow Wisdoms, I could see the argument, but we're not there. Okay, here we have basically just Yinty Yanty, right? Like there's nothing really else. This is Warrior, this is Shadow, but it's terrible. This is terrible. I think we have to take Yinty Yanty. Okay, these are some great cards. We have Blue Captain's Call, we have red as well, so we're definitely going to take one of these, but we do have Stubbies here. This is such a good pack that we have so many choices. For Stubbies, let's look real quick at how many that we have that's actually under 3, and if you look, it's not that many. We only have 2 boundings, one of which is blue, probably not going to get played a lot, and then yellow Vice. And we don't really have a way to go super wide to extract that much more value from the Stubbies other than Captain's Call and Shadow Puppetry. And then obviously the chain ability, sure. But we want to be swinging the weapon as much as we possibly can. So I think I value the it's so close. It's so close. Because these are not going to wheel. There's no shot. But I think we have to take the red. Yeah. This is so close. If I was going to take Captain's Call, which one do I take, though? I think I have to take the red. I don't think I have a choice. It just fixes so many hands. We're just going to hope this wheels. That may have been greedy, chat, but I got to go red captain. It just fixes so many problems in one card. Here we only have a couple that we can even choose from, which would be these last 4. Me personally, I just like securing the blue over these. They're not really doing anything. This is fine. Actually, coming from Arsenal with Go Again. I actually don't hate this card. But our blue count is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We only have 5 blues, and we got some expensive stuff like, Seeping Shadows and stuff like that. So definitely do not take Eclipse. I'm either Overload or Frontline, just because it doesn't block is the problem. And there's definitely another chain in here, so there's going to be situations where we're going to have to block. So I'm either here or here. I think I'm just going to take the blue. Here I think it's easy. Just take the Ghostly Visit. It's the best card in the pack. Here there's only one playable card, which would be the yellow Overload. And then here we take the blue because it's the only playable card. And then we take either red Memorial Ground or Yinty Yanty. There's an argument for both. I think we just go ahead and secure the blue. And then yellow Memorial. And then we take Prismatic. Okay. So after that pack concludes, we look at our playables, right? There's only 3 cards that we can't theoretically play, although there's a lot that we kind of don't want to, like these Memorial Grounds and stuff like that. But that's okay. So let's keep going. This is a great pack. We have a Riftbind, another red Rip to Reality. The biggest question here. So obviously between all of these, I'm not taking Ironhide Gauntlets, even though I'm kind of low on equipment. There's no shot that I'm taking the Gauntlets. So the question is definitely between these two, obviously. Now, can the deck leverage more value from Riftbind than Rip to Reality is the question. And we have a lot of Arcane built into the deck. We have Arcanic Crackles. We have Rifted Torments. We have Seeds. We got a decent number of ways to produce arcane damage, to turn this guy on, which is very important. Um, and I think I'm going to go with Rip because we don't have enough to really get this guy up there, and I'd rather go wide than tall. So we'll take the Rip to reality because we have the crackles. Here we go again. This is a good pack here. I think one of these will wheel. So we're going to take the brandish over these and then hope one of those wheels because this will not. And it has go again. So let's get one more count on the blues. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 blues. And I would prefer to be around 10. That's what I would prefer. So let's go brandish. See what happens. Okay, so we have a blue minnowism here to go with the belittle that we drafted earlier. That's a decent pick. It's probably, how many pumps do we have? Captain's Call. Captain's Call. That's about it. So red overload, really not extracting a lot of value there. And this is another blue. Our deck is a little bit more on the expensive side. So I do like taking the blue minnow because we have already drafted the red belittle. Oh, what a good pick. We slap this every single time. Kind of wishing I would have taken that rift bind earlier over Rip the Reality, but what can you do? So we're going to take that minnow, of course. Okay. We have time skippers here, but we're already so expensive and kind of low. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blues. Kind of need 1 or 2 more. We could take the blue belittle, but I think we have enough time to sneak in a ghostly visits here. It is red. It's a break point. I think that has value in it, so we're going to go ahead and take the ghostly. Okay, we have a yellow minnowism, which is... God, this Bolton pack is bonkers. The pick here is between minnowism and Rifted Torment. I think we take the minnow, kind of keep our non-attack ratio up. What is our ratio? Yeah, we're kind of low on our non-attacks. So let's do... Let's do the minnow. There's another ebb and flow. We can't really utilize that. We do have another belittle. We probably just go ahead and take that because we have some minnowisms. I think we have one of each color. So there's a decent value in just picking that up. And it's another blue. And I think it's our, I think it's our last blue that we really need. I think 10 is solid. We might could go for one more. Just depends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, we could go for one more though. Based off of this, the pack just kind of sucks all around. We're just might as well take this opportunity to get a. I mean, we have gotten a lot of minnows, so I actually don't hate this yellow overload. And it's a good closer. I don't hate it. We have Captain's Calls and stuff. Here we're probably just taking the Yinty Yanty. It's a blue, and we take the foil one, of course. Yep, because I can't really make an argument for Talisman or Yellow Tribute. So that's our last blue. Anything else is kind of gravy. This pack just sucks all around for us. There's nothing really here. So the choice is between pound for pound blue or overload. And because our deck is so expensive, this card is just... this card's bad. But this doesn't trigger a minnowism is my only worry. Nor the Captain's Calls. So I think we gotta go with the overload. Gee, I think we just grab the blue because we have one that doesn't block, so we can just upgrade that there. There's nothing else really here that we can utilize. Not for real. Okay, and we have no playable cards. So we have enough for a deck, but it's gonna be a little rough. We're kind of low on blood debt. It looks like we're a very generic heavy chain deck, which is okay. That means we might have to just shackle less. That is something that we have to keep. Nathan, what equips you think are must-haves in chain? I think Iron Weave is the best for sure, because you get the block value from it, and you get the resources later in the chain. Evanfold would be second, and everything else is kind of just extra. Stubbies are okay. There'll be a damage or two, maybe. Um, the only reason I didn't get the stubbies earlier was we have a bunch of cards like Red Rights, uh, Rifted Torment, Rip Through Realities, like a lot of 4 attacks that they wouldn't apply on. So here, I guess we wouldn't want them to get the second swing because they already got hooves. Right, we'll go ahead and take the Belittle, and then we'll take the Blood Tribute and the Pound for Pound. Okay. So that concludes the draft. Okay, so we go ahead and add tokens. For those of you who have never used this software, it's actually pretty good. I think there were like 3 hooves, literally, in that. It was kind of insane. So okay, so I don't know how there were 3 chains and only 2 prisms. I felt like chain was open. So the person, we were in seat 1. The person to our left was chain. We had 1 Levia. That's what we expected. Interesting. Really interesting. Super interesting. Okay. So I'm going to go back in there with them, and we will set up the matches. All right. So GG to the Levia. My goodness. Hexagore is trash. Hexagore is trash. Yeah. It's trash. I got it muted. So all right. Your opponent in the pod is highlighted in red in the area. So I'm gonna go get stomped by this 1 of 1 Levia real quick, and then we'll go from there. Okay. Removing everything I can't play. I'll be in game room 3. Just send me the link when you're ready. All right, chat. So that was pretty okay. I was super shocked there was a chain to our left. Was not or to our because C1 does not pass. C8 passes to C1. I think I have Discord muted on the stream. So we basically, I mean, I can undo it now since it's just us. So basically, very interesting that the chain was to our left. Yep. And go. So our first opponent, chat, is the 1/1 Levia. So we're probably getting raffle stomped here, but we're gonna give it our best go. You mean Rouse? 13 different hooves? Oh, okay. Sure. Okay, let me go ahead and copy this. Copy and go to the game. Paste. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. What is not? We can't play that. That's not a playable card. All right. So we got enough blues. We could take that out. I do want to just play value. We could play a thicker deck. I don't think there's any issue with that because you might be trying to do some funny stuff. We don't block that well. Definitely want to go. I actually want to go first here. Good question, chat. I'm actually thinking about that right now, whether I'll play every playable or not. It just comes down to more than likely, more times than not, that is what you do. But it kind of depends on what you're trying to operate on as a chain player, whether you go in with the strategy of like always shackling or shackling every now and again, not always doing it, things like that. So we will go ahead and run almost one. Sorry, I'm just thinking and talking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This doesn't block. Let's do this. Take those out because they don't really add any density, and they're just a liability. Yep, we'll just run the 38 like this. Why not? Okay, and it's pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and mute because I gotta talk through the hand, Sorry, chat. Trying to click 14 different things. And okay. So starting out, we are just worried about just threat density, right? I don't necessarily think we need to give her the opportunity to put cards in the graveyard. She is running 34 cards. But that doesn't really mean anything because she doesn't need a whole lot of cards to actively fatigue us. So here I think I'm actually very okay with just I do like just I don't want to fix the hand though, is the problem. Does she have there's no spell or there is spell void, but no AP. So we can go and get damage in with the seeds, which is kind of spicy, but then again, like we need that to kind of turn things on later in the game. Is the idea. So kind of tough. This is definitely going in Arsenal. That much we know 100%. We need the guaranteed target to execute it. Is the idea, which means this is kind of extra. And this would only come in for one anyway, so I think we're not even gonna shackle. It's kind of risky, but we'll go ahead and shackle. And then we will just swing here, pitching the Seeds of Agony. We want to get it down. And then we're going to Arsenal the Belittle. We want to get this with something that... also, if I was in person, I do like the ability of picking up the deck and counting, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my draw hand, and then one shackle. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. All the way down to see whether the card. Now I have to do like math because it's not physically there. It's a lot more difficult, but it'd be like that. So here we just pass, and we're gonna Arsenal this sweep a little, call it a day. Okay. So this is actually really good. What we can do here is we can do a lot of things. We can my first reaction is to basically belittle, pitching the belittle, revealing the yellow overload, go get the red minnowism, and then play minnow yellow overload. That'll pump it to 5, which is unblockable. And that's a very good start. Unfortunately, we have to take it. But he doesn't have 3 in there, so it's just a meat axe here. Which is okay. And it's for 3. So the question is, I definitely want to pitch that to pay for 1 there. And then we want to play the minnowism, pump the overload. It'll hit because they only have 1 armor block, and they can't block 4 unless they have red rods above. And so it'd be belittle for 3, overload for 6. Then we could shackle, arcanic crackle, and then galaxy black. All on 1 resource, which means the blue overload would be extra. We don't really want to arsenal that. Not really what we're trying to be doing. So I think that's good. All right, give me not a blue memorial ground off the top. That's not what we're looking for, but we'll make do. So here we're going to pitch the belittle. We are going to reveal the overload. And we're going to go and get the red one. Blocking very quickly. That's something I should take note of. Yep, definitely giving the armor here. It makes sense. Very good crackback. Very good. I don't think there's anything that I can really do. We definitely want to spew shadows, or not spew shadows. Shadow puppetry, probably arsenal that to be honest. So what we can do is we can pop ebb and fold to put that into the banish zone. Then we would draw a card. Hopefully it's a resource card. If not, we can always use brandish as a backup and go from there. Um, I think we have to keep on the aggression. I don't think there's anything we can do, although that's a very high value play. That very unfortunate for me. So we're gonna go here and we don't draw a card because it's not. Oh, it is shadow. Yeah, yeah. Okay. If it's shadow, yep, that is a shadow Rainblade card. We did get a blue. He is taking this. Okay. So what we can do now is we need to play a card from Banish Zone to turn on the Galaxy Black, so then it'll come in for 4. And this does say next turn, not combat chain, so we can break the chain. So here I'm actually going to elect to. There's actually no reason if this would gain go again. It really doesn't matter. Well, I guess it prevents me from having to shackle again. Although he is kind of racing at this point. Yeah, so we haven't played a non-attack this turn, so we can't play bounding from Arsenal yet. It does force kind of awkward blocks. I think we gotta go. I was gonna take it back. I think I should have actually applied that to the Rip Through Reality. But that's okay. And then we will shackle. And then this will come in for 4 and 1. Because we have played a card for Banish Zone, and we get the +1 from the Brandish Sahara earlier, which is pretty good. So pretty good value there. He has no blood debt though, and that's another thing. We need to go and play everything out because we're gonna get in trouble very quickly. We have not. We've only banished a blue bounding. This is insane. Well, I think what we need to do is He Arsenal card, which is scary. Um, Super unfortunate. So we could play go again, go 4-4, and then 1-1, but that's not really worth doing that in this situation. So I think we just send 8 here and Arsenal the yeah, I'm glad they didn't crack back. But I think if we send 8 though, he's going not being able to turn Galaxy black might have cost us the game because we can only threaten 8 if we hold back, but we can only threaten another 2. So no matter what we don't get the whole hand. He's going to pressure the hand on the next turn, which means I need to be able to do more with little, which means we have to take the shorter line of just sending the 8s and then arsenaling the captain's call. Yeah, I agree, Ethan. Like forcing that hand would have hurt a lot. Although he still has the opportunity to do it here if he has another Deadwood, or smash a big tree or anything like that. Which is why I'm prioritizing arsenaling the captain's calls. We can do like a lot more because I don't want to die to blood debt is the real problem. But we haven't. Okay. Yep. Okay. We have this, which is okay. We have that into that, which is actually pretty good. Hope that we hit something here. So we have the yellow to pay for that, and then this and whatever comes off that. So we can actually block 3 here and go to 1. That's GG. That's the one banish we didn't need. I was hoping for any attack and we'd be able to find man, out of all these banished cards, we got a blue bounding and a seeping when we didn't need it. Unfortunate. I mean, we obviously have to play this, right? Like, we don't have a choice. So that basically means that we have to go. No, I wouldn't say the levy's going full fatigue. I think that they played the value game that I wasn't able to do in the same manner and just go from there. And now they're just waiting for me to break, which is why I left the captain's call there. Is kind of my only. See, I'm just drawing on my blood debt. I don't even have that much, and I'm just drawing it. Super unfortunate. Just drawing all the blood debt. Play that +2, shackle into that, but we don't have anything. We need to be able to be ready for whatever comes out there, which we played this, that. This, he doesn't have any spell void anymore, so we could go. He's still at 10. We definitely lose this game, but I'm gonna make him work for it. This turns on this, but we can't really go wide enough for it to matter is the problem. So unfortunately, I think we just have to give that up. Okay. So what's the line here? We could go arcane damage into this. This shackle, play that, and then but we can add this onto it if we wanted, but using that for it's not ideal. I think we actually need to do this for plus. Just drawing all the blood debt. Unfortunate. I think we definitely have to play seeds here. And then go ahead and shackle into here. And we can make the decision on whether we want to. I guess now we have to. But here he just decks us out, is the problem. Yep, that's game. Because then I got to block and I can't present any damage. And that closes it. Okay. So that's round one. The 1 of 1 levy. I got it. I agree with Ethan. If that one turn, I think if he would have pushed a little bit more, I think he would have gotten it even sooner. I think his deck quality is just way high. Being a 1 of 3 chain is like exactly not where you want to be. So give me 1 second on the stream. Gonna take like a 2-minute break and then we're gonna jump right into the next match. Be right back. These guys are full. Okay. All right. Oh, I gotta unmute this. This is hilarious. Okay. No? No, I got destroyed. I got destroyed. Yeah. I literally did. Literally did. You think so? You think so? It had nothing to do. Nice, nice. Okay. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the second match. It's got to be the farthest person away from you that had the same record as you. So who won their matchup? I know how. Who else? Who else won? Okay, so Justin won. Okay, so it'd be Justin. It'd be Justin and Damien. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh no, no, no. If it'd be Howell, yeah, it'd be Howell and Damien, and then Will and Justin, because that's the farthest away. So that means I'll play. What do you, those matches are not next to each other. We're we're 2 seats away. Sure, let's just play a match. It doesn't matter to me. Okay. Okay. So chat. So far we have we have an okay list. Being a 1 of 3 chain though is not where you want to be. I just heard from Discord that one person has like all the blood deck cards, and then the other person just went heavy generic, kind of like where I did, and so we all kind of like cut into each other, and we're just gonna get fatigued out. Is the problem? So we need to adjust our strategy and basically try to do a less shackle than normal, um, and try to do it that way. That's probably the only way it's going to work out. If I had to guess. Yeah, yeah, you are. Okay. I don't think they can. We're learning over here, bro. We're we're learning. This isn't the players already joined. There it goes. It works. Yep. Okay. So our I'm gonna go and mute myself so I can talk. Okay, chat. So we have our second matchup. We have 1 of 2 Bolton. Um, yeah, no, this is completely right. Where Valreg said this is exactly where chain can go wrong. Because when you're 1 of 3 chain, like if you're 1 of 1, or and it looked way more open than it did. Um, but maybe I have the feeling that the person to my left picked some generics and kind of stayed open and then last pivoted into chain, is probably what ended up happening, and then just started cutting everybody basically. But that's okay. We gotta do what we can do about it and go from there. So one thing that we might be doing is slowing down the pace of the game and maybe not utilizing the shackles every single turn to kind of adapt to the deck quality that we have and see how that works. This is an experimental thing. Not 100% sure if this is like the actual optimum way to do it with a subpar chain deck. But we're gonna find out, and we'll learn as we go. Um, so I'm just gonna run the stack except for these because there are actually no threat density within those cards, and we will go ahead and go. I'm assuming he chose to go. Yeah, he wants to go second. Also, against Levy, I probably should have went second, actually, now that I think about it. But it is what it is. So here we have the same play as the last time, almost. The only thing is I do like shackling here in the beginning and then sending the Galaxy Black just to get this Rip the Reality out of our hand. We'll hold the blue, Arsenal Blittle, and we have the target ready to go. Although he has like Buku armor, so we can't get away with the same play that we did last time. Right? So we have to be cognizant of that. But I'm just doing this to get this out of my hand. And go from there. Sorry, chat. Yep, so we're just using this as a filtering method, basically, is the only idea. I did go ahead and make the shackle because I'm unsure of his current current situation. Okay. Seek enlightenment, sure. Yellow bolt. That's pretty good. I do not want that to hit because it's draw a card and another soul. The question is, if I block this, does he immediately then go to pivot? He can give go again. He does have floating. Interesting spot here. Because it's 3, we can't cover it up with just Minnow, which is super unfortunate. This card really messed us up. What's our turn look like? We can go here, but we can't gamble on this. We have to go here into Minnowism into here with a shackle and then swing. So we can go here just to be safe. I guess if we're going to do that, we might as well go here and here. Shackle missed. We have no information on what his strategy is. He is running a clean 60, so I do like the idea of kind of slowing down a little bit. Unfortunately, we don't have the hand where we can really do that. This is only like a kind of go burr hand, if you will. I mean, the most aggressive line is to play the blood over, reveal the bounding, go get red minnow, shackle, bounding, galaxy, right? I'm just trying to think, is there any way that I could provide a lot of aggression while holding back a little bit? And I don't think there is, so I think we have to just full send here. This is the first turn that we're actually getting information. There's actually an argument to actually hold this minnowism. There's an argument there, and I actually like doing that. We actually do have the floating, so we can ebb in the bounding. That's actually true. I think we have to, right? Because else we really need to pump the Galaxy Black, right? So we will take, I just don't want to, oh, that's such a good card to rip. Holy shit. Okay, so now we just go here and we hold that back for the next turn just in case of the breaking. So we can go shackle into here. That'll be 7, and then we'll go with the guy. So he is fatiguing. We do know this. So we're going to try to hold back on the shackles a little bit if we can. Not sure if we're going to be able to. Okay, so we have no blood debt. Once again. We have the blue. We can go. We can't turn on Galaxy Black, unfortunately. We know we're throwing the brandish, so let's go ahead and send it and see what he does. I think really my blood debt is my problem. I think I don't have enough of it, and I keep missing. Is ultimately what ends up being the issue here. Okay, so he is on the fatigue plan 100%. I don't think we have enough threat in the deck to really do anything about it. Is the problem. I think we just shackle Ghostly Visits and then Yinty Yanty, right? It's 2 breakpoints. We could Shadow Puppetry the Yinty and then Galaxy Black, but the Galaxy's only coming in for 1. I need to save this for when Galaxy Black is turned on and he's in this situation. So we gotta hold back the Shadow Puppetry right now. As much as I'd like to just yeet it. We definitely don't block this because we know what he's trying to do. We did hit a blood debt. Okay. Is there any way we can produce arcane damage? There is with the crackle. So we can turn on this Rip the Reality. We have plenty of resources. Do we have a blue minnow in the deck is the question. Because if we have the blue minnow, we can play the belittle for 1, show the crackle, get the blue minnowism. That means we have 5 available resources. We can rip. That's 3. We could play the ghostly. Yeah, we could shackle, crackle, shadow, rip, or shadow, ghostly, rip, galaxy. That's the play. Okay. So we're going to go belittle, pitching this, revealing this. We're going to get the blue minnowism. Okay. Then we're going to shackle into the crackle. And then we will go rip. That got the armor, which is great. Pretty good turn, but it only got through a little bit. So unfortunate. But we gotta do what we gotta do. That's if I've dealt arcane damage. So we could do, we do have seeping. We can take a little bit of blood debt. We're not worried about that. So how do we play this hand in a way to where we can kind of set up a little bit? So we need to make like a final push turn. Um, we could seeds into. It just seems bad. We need to play this to turn on Galaxy Black. So push the two yellows into that, but then we can't play the attack to go with it. Like this hand's just bad no matter what we do. This hand's actually very bad. In what world do we just set something up? We're gonna pitch two blood debt down to the bottom. We're gonna get a card here, and then we're gonna arsenal the captain's call to kind of set up. What's the best hero if they're most picks? Most picked? It would 100% be Prism. She could just do the most with less. Levia needs a lot of support, so does Chain. Both Shadow Heroes just kind of need a lot. As you can see, as I'm struggling here. Let's see. We are at Shackle 4, so we're gonna draw 4. That'd be 8. This would be 9 and 10. So then we will Shackle 4. Draw 4. That means we'll banish these, assuming we don't shuffle the deck. He's already committed to the fatigue strategy, so we're just gonna let this hit. I guess you can always pivot if you wanted to. We do have a lot of blues for the Seeping Shadow. The only problem is we don't really have any good candidates to play it on. We could play it on the Surging Militia, but that's kind of memey. I do kind of want to block this, but I don't know if I can. I don't think I can. We need to hit something here. We hit nothing out of 4 cards. What is happening, chat? What is happening? Yeah, Seeping Rift that doesn't progress the game though. It gets his hand, but that's not what I'm after. I'm after his life, not his hand. Now I'm after both, but like if I would have just kept playing 4 card after 4 card, he's just gonna block it out and I'm gonna lose the game. So I have to push for something bigger. But missing on all the banishes was not what we were looking for. And now we have to push something here. We can't do another setup turn like we did last time because he'll threaten the hand. Because we'll take some blood debt. So this is super unfortunate. This does apply to this. Hmm. Trying to think of the line here. Is there a blue minnow? I mean, I had the pitch stack that I don't want to mess up, but I don't think we're going to get there. Is the problem. So we might just be okay. Man. What is the line? We could play belittle, pitch the minnowism, show the surging, go get blue. Seeping. Nope, that's not enough. We could also pitch belittle. Minnow doesn't attach to anything but the surging militia here, and we need to give it go again. We can't give it go again with it. Like, this hand just doesn't. Nothing works here. Can't do arcane to turn this on. I think we literally have to play that to turn on Galaxy Black, and then like we can't even Captain's Call or Minnow as the main thing here. We could swing the surging. Is that actually the line? An extra blue. Go get the blue. That'd be 5 resources. We spend 3 there, 2 there. We have that left over to swing. I think that's actually the line. As crazy as this sounds, we're actually going to pitch that. Or play that by pitching that, showing that, going and getting blue minnow. The Seeping Shadows is being used to that. I need to do this in the correct order if I'm going to do it. So here we go. This, pitching this, revealing this. Go get the blue minnow. Oh, we can't even swing Galaxy Black. That's why I didn't do that. Don't know what to do, chat. I don't think there's any way to win this. I think just being a 1 of 3 chain is not where you want to be. That's so good here. Lesson learned, don't be a 1 of 3 chain. And now we're about to draw our blood debt. There it is. There it is. You can block that out. We can't produce 8 damage while having to block with 2 cards. We can produce 2 arcane. Nope. We'll try it. Oh, he has soul, so he's swinging again. So we'll give it to him. 1 of 3 chain feels real bad, chat. Feels real bad.
Yo, that was rough.
Bro.
That looked
Bro.
rough from your end.
Yeah, I don't have enough blood debt. I think Vero got it all. 1 of 3 chain is not where you want to be.
I don't think actually Vero. I don't think Vero has all of the blood debt. I think he's got all of the generics.
So,
drafted like I think he said he drafted like 8 generic poppers or something like that.
What?
Yeah, he said he drafted a ton of generic poppers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Y'all talking crap in the general, hogging all the picks.
Yeah, you're just now seeing that.
Yeah.
Jesus, bro.
Yeah.
You had 8 packs. You had 8 packs at one point.
Okay. I'm gonna go into the chat. Yeah.
For 3, I could pitch and like swing my weapons, and it's like
Yeah, no, because the charging that's also fatiguing you. So
Okay, chat. So that 1 of 3 chain just isn't doing it. You could try to go. See, I was thinking about that, right? And if I go slow on the shackle because of the threat density within my deck, like the problem that I'm trying to solve is I look at the hand, right? And it's like you have the hands have been lining up okay as far as like there being one Runeblade card to get that needs to go again for the shackle or whatever. The problem is I don't have enough blood debt to support the Galaxy Black being turned on. I would say probably only 20% of the time I'm actually swinging with the Galaxy Black turned on. But we will try to slow down the shackles because I know I said I was going to entertain it during that one, but just the hand does not play if you don't is the problem. Because I don't have any mid-range play in the deck. I don't have like any poppers or anything like that. So I can't just like, stack pitch this, paint into that. It's literally like swing for 1 if I want to try to stack pitch something. And then they say, okay. And then we saw, when the one turn that I tried to set something up, it basically turned into that he presented 10 to 12 damage, right? And I had to just eat it. And then he got me blocking and there's nothing I could do, right? I think just being a 1 of 3 chain is just simply a death sentence. I really do think it, because I don't know. It's not a good spot to be in. And it from the draft, it looked very open. But I'm gonna hop back in the Discord.
Great, that's my bad.
All right.
Get it wrong.
We ready for the last one, guys?
Let's
Yep.
go.
Damien said he doesn't want to play the last one.
No, it's just because like you have Luminaries, bro. Anyway.
We don't
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to.
I got you.
I mean, we don't have to.
I'm
No,
down.
no,
I would love to.
You might not have to, Nathan.
I would like to play the
You gotta-
last round, but if we don't play the last round, I would like to do another draft.
I would love to do another draft.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Oh.
I'm checked out after this personally.
Yeah. I tell you what, we can go ahead and call it on both. We can just
That's fine. I'm
Yeah.
just checked out.
yeah we'll just call it. So who were the 2 undefeateds in the pod?
Prism.
Prisms.
Both Prisms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, one of
Luminaris.
who got the Luminaris?
I did.
Justin.
Okay, and what was the other Prism? Like any just an average Prism deck or anything?
He
Like,
was just average Prism. He won because I lost the statistical and probability 3 times in a row.
okay,
4 times.
Leviathan.
All right, 4 times in a row.
okay. What about the
Well, look-
Boltons? What?
I'm,
Oh.
I'm 1-1.
My Bolton was weirdo Bolton. I went all axe buffs and axe
Okay.
go again. So when the Prism played Parable against me, I just swung my axes
Right.
and ignored it.
I
I
was like,
still
he got
lost,
me
but
with
it was a
the
good fight.
Okay.
He
Right.
I'm kind of the opposite. I got a bunch of attack buffs.
And then all the changes did terrible, right?
my headset died.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah, I just blocked out a chain until they died to Blood Dead. It
Yeah,
wasn't-
yeah. We don't have enough
Yeah,
threat
that's
density.
pretty much what I did to do.
Okay.
That's
I'll-
pretty much what I did to me.
I'll go and close it out.
I think yours is covered.
Okay, chat. So that's gonna be it. So the breakdown of what happened in the pod. Let's break it all down. Okay. So let me pull up the draft screen so we can kind of see here what happened. Okay. So I talked to the guys in the Discord, or they told me that one of the 2-0 decks in the pod were Prism. Now, being a 2 of 2 Prism, that kind of makes sense. I talked to the Levia. The Levia was 1-1. The reason that they said that they lost their game was due to like very improbable banish 3 and missing a 6, due to equipment being in the graveyard. Basically, it was kind of the reason that it happened. So the chains all did bad. Every single chain. It wasn't we just didn't have enough. Everybody got fatigued every single game, or fatigued via damage, right? Try to set something up, you got to take some damage, go back down, whatever. So all the chains being 3-ofs, yeah, the chains did terrible because we were 3-ofs. Levian went 1-1 because it, and then the Boltons was kind of interesting. Will went with like a more axe focused strategy with like second swings, stuff like that, like buffs. Whereas the other one went more traditional, the one that I played against. And they both went the same. So the Prism with Luminaris going undefeated is expected, right? You open that, it does very well, right? But both Prisms making it to the 2-0 spot is not surprising. Not surprising. So to break down, we're not going to play the last round. Everybody was kind of like, just me too. I already know what's going to happen. I mean, it's going to be 2 rinky-dink chains kind of just throwing noodles at each other, basically is what it'll end up being. So we'll go ahead and we'll talk about what we learned a little bit. We'll spend a couple more minutes just chatting about, things to take note of, right? So I am going to go back and watch the picks and see if I could have went Levy out the gate, that would have been amazing because we had the rouse, we had, so many, just amazing things. But just, not having a super strong pick 1 in the first pack, going with I think it was a Yellow Seeds of Agony, I think is what I got. Then it was kind of that situation where I let my first couple picks influence me too much. I should have been willing to drop it. But I had clinged on to those first couple picks a little too long, knowing that I was pushing somebody into Levia. And if I would have swapped around when I saw the Rouse the Ancients and the Soul Harvest and all that, then we would have been 2 Levias sitting right next to each other. Or at least, we wouldn't have been sitting next to each other, but we would have been in the pod. And then a Levia split in cards is just as bad as a chain split in cards, right? So it was a tough spot, but I think we could have done better. Chains seemed open. Also, one of the chains, just like I predicted earlier, went very heavy in the generic category. He started drafting like 3 to 5 poppers. Was like his first like decent amount of picks. And so that's just super interesting. And then later pivoted into chain, which kind of divided a lot of the cards. And yeah, so that's just how it happens sometimes. The Levia did really. I think the Deadwood was very important in the Levia picks. I think that's probably one of the highest picks, other than like Soul Harvest, and you got to get the hooves, right? You have to have the hooves. So some of the things I'm going to be taking note of and going forward is if I get any sniff that there's more than a chain or two, you gotta, I don't know, it's just so risky. I can't think of a way. It's an interesting like dichotomy, right? Because you have a situation where chain was open because one of the chain players was drafting generics, right? So chain's open. And then that's why I've always been a fan in Outsiders. One of the strategies I employed was I would pick the strongest class card that says the strongest signal every time and not generics to stay open, to force those people that stay open into another. I could have pivoted into Bolton. That's a fair point. That is a fair point. But I think sending signals to those people that are picking, if I can find a way to do that, I think that's one of the highest EV plays I can make, is actually just trying to send signals to those people that are taking generics and trying to stay open. Because if they don't, you don't want those people to hop into your hero, is basically what you're trying to do. There was a lot of good Bolton cards passing, but it was very weird because around, I'm gonna go back and watch, but I think around like 3 to 6, all the Bolton stuff was taken. Could have just been bad packs though. I'm more than willing to admit that. But you're right. Like the picks, like 7 to 9 had like decent stuff. Like I think we saw like a yellow take flight, which isn't like the best card, but I mean it's decent, right? So yeah, very interesting. And we're not gonna do another draft tonight. That's it for tonight. It's very hard to get, get enough people to keep jamming out multiples. But if anybody is interested in doing drafts either off stream or on stream, I was in the perfect Levia seat, Ethan. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I hate it. I hate it. You know what? I haven't played Chains since he LL'd, so I kind of wanted I wanted to relive a little bit. I think I had a little bit of bias there. I don't think I was going in to Chain. I think I just clinged on to the first couple. I think I made the right pick. I think Yellow Seas was the best card to pick in the first pack, and I think I made a good second pick. I think I let the first 2 picks and what they involved influence me too much in not pivoting. So I think I'm gonna go back and watch it and study it and kind of can get some value out of that, because drafting is something that, don't just do 1,000 reps. Do a rep, really look into it, see where you could have done things better, worse, whatever the case may have been. But the rouse would be a great sign that there was no Levia or Prism near. The rouse came pick 3, I believe. So rouse is a gamble early on. I think rouse is like a good 4 to 6 pick. Once you kind of like know you're either on Prism or Levia, I think it's a good one to get into. But other than that, you're like you're just drafting a blue 2 block, which is not where you want to be when it was just too much to gamble on already picking seeds. But I definitely should have hopped into Levia. I should have done it. Should have done it. But what can we do? So yeah, that is going to conclude today's stream. Like I said, next week, what we're going to do is we're going to break down, for the first little bit, I'm going to reference this draft again and kind of like where studying it and like where I could have pivoted or what I should have changed to. I think the chat had a good point on, I think it would have been decent to switch into Bolton. But maybe one of the chain players just, because I was in chain from pick 1 accidentally. Maybe somebody just hopped in last second. I'm not sure. But we're going to keep grinding, and I really do appreciate it. Everybody being here. And like I said, if you're interested in doing drafts either on stream or off, hop into the Card Guys Discord, and we're going to start doing a lot more reps I am gonna give Levy a chance. I promise you. I'm not gonna force her, but I'm gonna go in with way more of an open mind because 1 of 3 chain, man, it's so risky. It's so risky. But I really do appreciate everybody being here, and we'll do another draft in a week on Wednesday for the next stream, and we're also gonna do kind of lessons learned after I've studied this and rewatched it and see where I could have pivoted. Yeah, and then we'll do it again. So thanks everybody for joining me. I really enjoyed being back after taking a week off, and I will see everybody in a week from now. Take care, everybody.